Something is brewing behind the scenes in the global financial system. Big changes are coming that will challenge US dollar dominance across this earth. Countries are fleeing the USD, and these countries who have decided to step away from greenbacks have a critical ally that will make this transition that much easier. That ally is Bitcoin. What is going on and who are the countries? We'll find out in about 10 minutes because it's time for Chico Crypto. Why the US dollar has dominated for so many years is a complex subject that revolves around a certain black gold called oil. But the protection of the US dollar hegemony is a product of its alliances the United States has created across the globe. Protection through economics comes from alliance groups like the G7, and protection by force, from military force, comes from groups like NATO. Well, a new group is on the block whose goal is to challenge the United States and its currency, the US dollar. This is the BRICS Alliance, which is a strategic group of leading emerging economies consisting of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And would you look at that? Just last month, it was reported the BRICS countries have overtaken the G7 in GDP based on PPPs, or purchasing power parities. PPPs are the rates of currency conversion that equalize the purchasing power of different currencies by eliminating the differences in price levels between countries. AKA, this is a measurement of the price of a specific good in different countries and is used to compare the absolute purchasing power of the country's currency. The IMF data on GDP based on purchasing power parity since 1982 reveals a steady decline in the share of the G7 in global GDP and an equal steady rise in contributions of BRICS nations, with the BRICS now surpassing the G7. And the outlook into the future sees the G7 falling even further while BRICS just keeps on rising. And BRICS isn't just rising against the G7, it's growing rapidly in the number of countries choosing to join the alliance. It used to just be called BRIC, but in 2010, South Africa joined and turned it into BRICS. Well, since 2010, no other country has joined the alliance. But that is about to change rapidly. Just ahead of their annual summit in June, it has been reported that 19 new countries are interested in joining BRICS, which is almost 10% of the world. The Bloomberg article on this states Saudi Arabia and Iran are among the countries who formally asked to join. Other countries that have expressed interest in joining include Argentina, United Arab Emirates, Algeria, Egypt, Bahrain, and Indonesia, along with 2 nations from East Africa and 1 from West Africa, which weren't identified yet. Now, earlier this month, it was also announced that BRICS was working on creating their own currency. And the article on this states, according to reports quoting Russian lawmaker Alexander Babakov, the BRICS nations are in the process of creating a new medium for payments, established on a strategy that does not defend the dollar or euro. Yeah, they are moving swiftly away from the dollar. But what is this new currency going to be? A CBDC? Well, in my opinion, most likely. But what will this CBDC be backed by? What if I told you it could end up being Bitcoin? 6 months ago, I knew something was brewing with the BRICS nations and BTC when I dropped this video. These countries are going all in on Bitcoin, new world reserve currency, where I dove deep into this possibility. Now, I know many of you watching at home will say, "You're crazy, Chico loco."
Oh, Chico loco.
Didn't you know China has banned Bitcoin? They aren't going to allow this. They want their yuan to be the currency. My friends, Bitcoin is China's ally in their fight against the dollar. They love Bitcoin and want it to flourish far and wide across this globe. Do you remember back in September of 2021 when China banned Bitcoin and crypto mining? The markets fell off a cliff and everyone and their mother believed that it was true. I was the first and only YouTuber to call it a fake out, showing in that video the proof circulating was a bunch of BS. Some of the images of mining facilities being torn down were old mining rigs, or they were just plain old images being reused. It was a facade, a ruse. People didn't believe me until the Cambridge Center for Alternative Finance, who tracks BTC mining, put out their 2021 report on BTC mining. And despite the ban, they found out that China was number 2 to the USA for Bitcoin mining. China never banned BTC, nor will they ever. China needs to have the United States believe they do not like Bitcoin. If the US feels like China and Bitcoin are working against the US dollar, the US would swiftly move to ban BTC, as that would be an overwhelming force against dollar dominance. The same can be said about Russia. In June of last year, it was reported that Russia was banning crypto for payments. Well, just last week, it was reported that Russia was planning to mine crypto for cross-border deals due to them being banned from traditional payment rails like SWIFT. The CoinDesk article on this stated, the Bank of Russia is working on a bill that will introduce an experimental legal regime for cryptocurrencies to be used exclusively in export-import deals. The country's government is also working on a bill that will create a national agency to license and supervise cryptocurrency platforms operating in China. And then Cointelegraph reported earlier this year that the Russian government was subsidizing a crypto mining facility within their nation. But wait, there's always more. Throughout 2023, based on preliminary mining data, it is being reported from Russia media outlets that Russia is the second biggest mining nation for cryptocurrencies, overtaking China and just behind the US. But what about the other BRICS nations like Brazil and South Africa? Well, Brazil is going deep into Bitcoin. They even have a Bitcoin beach within the nation called none other than Praia Bitcoin, where vendors and businesses on this beach are all accepting BTC for payments using the Lightning Network. Then, earlier this year, the Brazilian president signed into law crypto regulations, moving the country closer to a wider embrace of digital currencies by laying the groundwork for the asset to be used as payments and classifying the range of crypto assets. From the article, Senator Arija Abreu, who backed the bill, told Bloomberg that the legalization would establish a favorable environment for more regular crypto use. He said, with regulation, cryptocurrency will become even more popular. Once this regulation is approved, the trend is that it will be increasingly adopted in the supermarket, in commerce, in a car dealership. What about South Africa? Well, just like Brazil, the nation is seeing the value in digital assets and is moving swiftly to get them regulated within the country so the industry can grow and flourish. Take notes, US. But what about the nations who are about to join BRICS, like the UAE or Argentina? Well, as we all know, the United Arab Emirates is positioning itself to become the global crypto hub. Many people and businesses are moving to the UAE due to their friendly crypto stances. And finally, Argentina. Last year, an Argentinian province, Mendoza, is allowing their citizens to pay their taxes in crypto assets, stable coins like Tether and DAI. And then just last month, the nation became the first LATAM country to have a regulated Bitcoin futures product launched. And the country is being really friendly with taxes with a new proposed bill. From the article on this, it says those individuals who voluntarily disclose their assets within the first 90 days of the law's implementation will be subject to a tax on the capital gains of their crypto holdings. That is just 2.5%. This tax will only apply to those individuals who reveal their assets. This tax rate would increase by a small amount once every 3 months until it reached the ordinary capital gains tax rate of 15% for the nation. So my friends, just a few days ago, Brazil's current president, Lula, reiterated the need for the BRICS nations to move away from the dollar and create their own new currency. He said, Why can't we do trade based on our own currencies? Who was it that decided that the dollar was a currency after the disappearance of the gold standard? Well, the Bitcoin standard is coming for these nations very soon. Do not doubt me. Cheers. I'll see you next time.